Hi, I'm Bob Cooper with the Elite, and thanks so much for joining us. For those of you that are new to us, I have every reason to believe that you're going to really enjoy what we have in store for you. I really do believe that in the bottom of my heart. Now, look, one of the things I'd like to mention is you see some smiley faces on your screen if you take a look right now, and you'll see Jen, one of our panelists, and I'm going to circle back and introduce these guys and gals to you a little bit later. You see Sarah up here on the screen, another one of our panelists. You're going to learn a lot from Sarah as well. You'll see Andy up here on your screen. Andy did an outstanding job, as the other panelists did last week. I'm sure all of you that are with us will agree to that. And hopefully you'll be able to see our smiley face Tim on the screen as well. So I'll give you a little bit, for all of you that are new to us, I'll give you a little bit more information on these guys and gals a little bit later. But right now, what we're going to do is we're just going to tuck those images away, and then we're going to circle back, and we're going to get back in touch with them in just a moment. So guys and gals, we'll be right back with you. To the rest of you, first of all, I would like to give another warm thank you to our dear friends at Mitchell. They were the guys and gals that were kind enough to bring this to life for us. So my heart goes out to them. My appreciation goes out to them for everything that they do. For those of you that I haven't met in the past, my name is Bob Cooper. I'm the president of Elite. I live here in San Diego with my wife, Karen. Lived here for most of my life now. I'm the founder and president of Elite. And the reason that I mention that to you isn't not about me, but to help you better understand who we are as an organization. For those of you that aren't familiar with who we are, we're a company. This is the most simplest way that I could ever put it, is this is a principle that we live by of never putting money ahead of people. We believe that all companies have to have principles that they live by. This is in our DNA. What about our company? Gee, tell me a little bit more about Elite. Well, the best way of describing that is actually through our mission statement. I'm sure most of you already have mission statements in place. Well, here's ours. It's our mission to use our top experts in America that we work with to help guys and gals just like you have better lives and reach all of your goals, while at the same time we want to elevate this industry that we all really love so much. And like it says, a mission will never will compromise our ethics or the trust that's placed in us. How do we do that? That's begs another question, right? How do we help the guys and gals in the industry? Well, lots of different ways. We provide industry leading sales training. We have peer groups that are really second to none, one-on-one coaching that's provided by top shop owners in America, consulting services, all different kind of ways of helping guys and gals like you not only get to the top of the industry, but stay at the top as well. So a little bit about who we are, a little bit about what we do. The objective of this event. Okay, so why are we all together? What are we looking to do? All right. Well, we're going to provide you with an insight into the minds of your ideal customers, and we're going to help you create a plan for implementing what you've discovered. Now, why is this important? Well, again, for those of you that are new to us, we all know that all of those customers that come to your shop or that you'd love to have come to your shop or that came to your shop that never came back for whatever reason, we all know they got a lot of thoughts going on inside of their mind. And what we're looking to do is we're looking to learn about them. We're looking to learn about what motivates them, what makes them go, oh, I'm dealing with the right people or I'm not. So information is one thing. I'm sure you'll agree with me. Application is everything. How do you take that information? How do you apply it? So what we're going to do is we're going to continue that journey today, and we're going to also be helping you understand what you can do to create a plan for implementing everything that you've learned through this course. So what's in store for you today? Well, one of the things you're going to do is you're going to discover what your customers think about your facility, the guys and gals that work with you, yes, the amount of money that you charge, and what it takes to keep them as your customers. What we covered last week, for those of you that are again new to us, is we took a look at what goes on inside of their minds when it comes to marketing. How do they go about finding the right shop? Well, today we're going to take a look at, okay, they found you. They're going to come to your shop. Now, what's the rest of the story going to be like? So that's today. What about October 20th? What's going to happen then? Well, you're going to have a once in a lifetime opportunity that really is going to be unlike any other. That's a promise that I can make you. And the reason that I say that is you're going to have a couple world-class shop owners that are going to be with us. And I'll tell you a little bit more about them a little later, but these guys and gals are really second to none. They really are. You're also going to hear from Jen Moncluse, who is a certified sales and leadership trainer for us. This is a gal that won the All-Star Award with Ratchet and Wrench last year, and she really is second to none. You're also going to hear from one of our business development coaches, Kevin Vaught, who really does have a profound understanding of the industry, and he helps clients and shop owners literally across the country. I'll round this out a little bit by telling you a little bit more about the other two that are going to be joining us. Most of you are probably familiar with Joe Marconi. He writes for Ratchet Wrench Magazine. He was a keynote speaker at the Ratchet Wrench Conference a couple of years ago. He really is, when it comes to running an auto repair business, he really is second to none. Joe owns an amazing business in New York. So I thought, you know what, we're going to have somebody from the other coast as well. So on the October 20th date, next week, we're also going to bring in a shop owner, Craig Noel, and he owns Sun Automotive Group. They actually have 3 stores, getting ready to open up their 4th store, and he's in the great state of Oregon. This guy is spectacular as well. So what are we going to have in store for you on the 20th? You're going to be able to hear from all of these industry leaders as to what they are doing when it comes to implementing what they've already learned from the first 2 sessions. And they're going to help you with the implementation as well, because we're going to be taking questions from each and every one of you that are going to be directed toward this panel of industry experts for sure. So that's the 20th. Mark your calendar. Don't overlook that one. Let's talk about today's agenda. What's going to happen? We're going to welcome back the panelists. I will then begin after we welcome them back with the Q&A session. And then from about 10:45 or so, about a half an hour into this session, and until about 11:15 Pacific time, you're going to be able to present all your questions to us, and we're going to be answering as many of those as we possibly can of all the panelists that are going to be here. Now, look, if you take a look over on the right-hand side, you'll see a little chat box, okay? And what I'm going to ask that you do is type your questions into that chat box. How to best benefit? Make sure that you're uninterrupted, of course, and take really good notes. We're going to have some polls today that you're going to really enjoy. You're going to learn a lot from these polls, too. I have reason to believe that. So make sure that you participate in the polls. Join us for next week's industry-exclusive session with these 4 industry leaders, and you could use the same link that you used today to get into the session next week. Just that easy, all right? Now, as I mentioned to you a moment ago, one of the other things you need to be aware of is you're going to have the opportunity to ask these panelists questions. So here's what you're going to need to do. You're going to need to type in your name over the right-hand corner, all right? And then it's a secured chat panel. Type in your name and type in your question. Here's what I'm going to ask that you do, though. This is critically important. Bear in mind, the only people who are going to be able to see your questions are going to be myself, Diana Frary, that's working with us here. She's behind the scenes. She's our superstar Zoom expert that's helping us with all of this. She's going to be able to see your questions, and the 4 panelists are going to be able to see the questions as well. No one else will see those. So what I'm going to ask that you do is when you type in your questions, please ensure that you type in your full name as well. And the reason that I say that is a lot of you might have Zooms that you're using somebody else's account. It might have your nickname. It might have just John or whatever. And we want to make sure that we know when that question comes in exactly who is asking that question. And the reason that we want to do that is if we're unable to get the question answered during the amount of time that we have, then we want to make sure that we're able to get that answer for you somehow rather than get it sent off to you. So make sure that you type in your full name with any questions that you ask of the panel. Take advantage of the 2 special offers they're going to be making available to you for a limited time. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about those today. I have every reason to believe you're going to be thrilled with what you discover in our 2 offerings. So let's do this, all right? One other thing before we get started. Do what very few do, which is follow through. And what I'm asking you to do here is bear in mind that information is everywhere. You know that. You could go online, you could read books, you're going to find information everywhere, especially in today's day and age. Information is key to your success, but it's not nearly as important as application. It's taking what we learned, taking what we discovered, and actually putting it to use. So do what you need to do, which is follow through. Guidelines for the questions. Please, as I mentioned a moment ago, make sure that your full name is displayed in the chat panel. And we ask that you please refrain from asking questions about where these guys or gals live in. And by the way, no, none of them are in a witness protection program. We just want to make sure that we're protecting their anonymity. Please make sure that you refrain from asking any questions that have anything to do with the names of any shops or dealerships that they might indirectly refer to, or any brand names that the panelists may be familiar with. We would like to keep those out of the conversations as well. So who's with us today? Well, we have Sarah, we have Andy, we have Tim, and Jen. And again, for those of you that are new to us, and as a reminder for all of you that were with us last week, Sarah's a financial planner. She's got a degree in 2003. She works in the high-tech industry. She's married with 1 child. Here are the stores that she frequents, and this is the kind of vehicles that Sarah owns. She has a 2006 Jeep, purchased in '08, has 150,000 miles on it. She's got a 2013 Escape that she bought in 2015, has approximately 85,000 miles on it. Sarah goes to well-respected independent auto repair shops for her services and repairs. So she's the gal that you already have in your nest. Number 2, we have Andy. Who is Andy? Well, Andy's got a bachelor's degree in computer technology. He works in a high-tech industry as well. 37 years old, 2 kids. These are the retail stores that you'd find him in, the brick and mortar stores. And here's what Andy drives. And the reason that we decided to go with Andy is he's bright. He's a great consumer for sure. He's willing to invest the money to get the job done right. And he goes to the dealership. All right. He has a 2012 Audi Q5 that he bought new, has about 50,000 miles on it. His wife drives that vehicle. And he has, as you can see, a 2017 BMW i3 that he bought new as well, has about 28,000 miles on it. We thought, you know, with him having an electric car and a Euro car, he's somebody that we need to have on the panel. So, and as it says, with rare exception, Andy's relied on the dealerships for all of his repairs and all of his services. And then we have Tim. Tim's got a master's degree in industrial management from a school in Chicago, works in commercial finance. He's 33 years old. He's a single guy. He's a AAA member. These are the retail stores that you would find him at. And what kind of car does he have? Vehicle does he have? Well, he's got a 2017 Raptor. I could tell you that he bought new. It has about 38,000 miles on it. Tim is a self-admitted car guy. And you know, not only could he be the ideal customer for you, I've interviewed dozens and dozens of people as applicants to fill these roles as these individuals are filling here for you today as consumer panels. One of the things that I was looking for is a nice spread of customers that could give you, where we could touch all of you in one way or the other. What I could tell you about Tim is he's your ideal customer as well. And as Tim goes through life, he and I've had long conversations about this. You could rest assured, even though he's a self-admitted car guy, he knows he's going to have more vehicles, and he's going to turn more and more and more to guys and gals like you to take good care of his automobiles. So number one, he's got the Ford. Number two, he had a 2008 Lexus, and it's important that you understand this. He had this before he had the Ford. He bought it in 12. He sold it in 17. But take a look at the bottom. With rare exception, he went to the dealer to take care of his car for all repairs and services, not to the independent. So a lot that we could learn from Tim as well. Jen, who's this lady, Jen, that's on board with us? Well, she went to Truman University in Missouri and graduated in '94. 3 kids, full-time mom, a substitute teacher, AAA member. Here's some brick and mortar stores that you might find her in. So you can see, like the other panelists, she too is willing to invest money when she finds the right people, the right product, the right service. What does she have? She has a stable of cars because of her kids. She's got a 2013 Sienna, as you can see, that she bought new. It's got 75,000 miles on it. She's got a Ford Edge that she bought new, about 35,000 miles on that. She has a 2014 Buick that she bought for one of her children. She's got a 2019 Ford that she bought for another one of her children. And this lady is responsible for all of the vehicles in her household. 2 vehicles that her kids are driving, her husband's car, and the car that she drives. And take a look at the bottom here, guys. This is a gal that is responsible for all of the vehicles, and she relies on an independent chains. She's not a gal that goes to the dealerships and not necessarily going to the mom and pop or the independent one store, but she goes to a chain. So that's our panelists, and it's time to get started. It's time to have a conversation with these guys and gals. So Diane, if you can help me welcome them back, it would be very, very much appreciated. There we are. Hey guys and gals, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can.
All is good. Good. Well, look, I know that you guys, I know that your time is valuable, so thanks so much for being here. And I have a question that I would like to fire off of one of you. Sarah, what about you? You ready for one?
Yep, let's do it.
Okay. Sarah, when you're quoted a price, you go to a new auto repair shop that you haven't been to in the past. You're quoted the price on a repair, and you'd like to do a little bit of price checking for whatever reason. How do you do that? You just hung up the phone and you just heard an estimate of, let's say, $1,800. You'd like to do a little price checking. How do you do that?
I would already have had a list of shops that I was interested in from my research. So I would just start calling those other shops and explain what I think's going on, what I was told could be the problem and could need repair, and find out what they think, just to kind of get a second opinion, not just on the price, but also on the repair that may be needed, and go from there.
Thank you, Sarah. Jen, what about you? What would you do in that circumstance?
Besides calling other shops to see what they might offer, I have a friend who knows a little bit about cars. I would call and ask if they think that could be the problem. See if that's a realistic issue, a realistic problem. just to get a second opinion or a third opinion to make sure this is what I really need to be looking for and this is what issue I might have, and see how much they think it would cost too.
Okay, thank you. And Tim, what about you? What would you do in that circumstance? Whoops, Tim, I lost you.
I would start by I'd start by looking at the cost of the price and of the part to figure out exactly how much is labor versus the actual piece that needs to be replaced, and then go from there and kind of determine if the labor is worth what or if I believe that the labor is worth what they're trying to charge me for it.
But what if it's a repair or service that you're unfamiliar with? How would you price shop them then? How would you price compare them then?
Great question. I'd probably go back to Facebook of the like specific Raptor groups that I'm in and do research there and reach out to friends or colleagues that have similar trucks to mine and see, you know, what they're seeing and basically make sure that the price that I'm being quoted is fair.
Okay, thank you. Andy, what about you? What would you do?
Trying to figure out what else I could add to what the panelists said. All of the above. Call other shops for price comparison. Look up online, see the cost of the price, the cost of the parts, and if the amount they're going to charge me is fair. More than that, that would be it.
Andy, how much should a shop owner charge to diagnose your car?
Around $100, 75, 100, 120, depending if it's a specialty shop. I mean, dealers have charged me 120. I was fine.
Jen, what do you think? How much should a shop charge to diagnose your car?
I would say 50 to 75. And then a couple of times that's been kind of worked into the price of the repairs after if I work with them. But I don't want to pay too much money for them to tell me what's wrong with my car and then hundreds and more dollars to fix it, or charge me $100 and some to tell me what's wrong with my car, and then I get an estimate somewhere else and there's really nothing wrong with my car. So I don't want to pay a lot. I know they have to make money for their time to do the testing, but I don't want to pay that much. I would say 50 to 75.
Sir, what about you?
I would say 50 to 100, depending on, you know, what the repair, like if it's a part that's really hard to get to, that's going to take them time. I understand, I get it. But like Jen said, you know, if I'm going to spend the money to have it diagnosed, then I would expect that money to come out of the final price, as long as I'm getting it repaired right then and there.
Tim, what about you? What are
I
your
think
thoughts on that?
initially, I believe initially a shop should take the car in and look at it first for no charge at all, as far as saying, okay, we think it's an internal part here, so this is what it's going to cost us to take it apart and figure out the exact amount. So as far as a standard goes, I don't have that in my mind, because I think they should look, you know, basically take the vehicle in and take a look at it and tell me what their initial thoughts are, and then have a conversation with me and say, you know, we have to take off drop the transmission and see if the torque converter is messing up. Well, that's a little more labor than, you know, call it, you know, brake pads being, you know, worn out. But again, with what Sarah and Jen are saying, the diagnostic charge should go against the total cost of the repairs.
So all of you, please understand, I'm not putting words in your mouth. I'm just trying to make sure that I understand your answers. So all of you feel that the charge for diagnosis should be credited toward the repair.
Yes.
Correct.
Everybody's head shaking yes on that.
Yes.
Okay.
And I would also add, I mean, if you take the engine apart to fix something, and you're there and you notice that, you know, one other thing that is right there, there's 2 bolts to unscrew and should be changed because it's old, it's worn, it should be worth it. I would also expect them to be there and do it and give me the option, hey, the engine's apart, I'm not going to charge you to take the engine apart again to replace this part. If we are here, it's going to cost you X amount to replace this as well. That would be very nice to get from a shop.
Do any of Andy, do you have any idea how a shop goes about deciding how much to charge for diagnosis?
As far as I know, there's like some sort of standard industry standard. They look it up how much time it's estimated to replace a piece, and they go off of that. As far as I know,
So you think it's predicated on time?
I believe so.
Sarah, your thoughts on that?
I honestly have no idea, but it would make sense if it's based on the time that they're going to invest in doing the diagnosis.
Sarah, you walk into a shop and you pick up your automobile and you're looking at the invoice, and at the very bottom you see that there's a charge and it says shop supplies. And you ask them about that, and they tell you this is for miscellaneous items like shop rags and lubricants and nuts and bolts that they used in repairing your car. And it's X amount of dollars, $25. Do you think that that's appropriate for them to list that in that manner?
No.
You're shaking your head, Sarah. What? Go ahead, Sarah. I'm listening. Go ahead.
No, I feel like that would be nickel and diming. You know, I get it's a business cost, but I feel that that should be worked into, you know, the cost of your repair.
Jen, what about you? Do you have any thoughts on that question?
If it showed up on my invoice after the work had been done, I would not be very happy about that. Like Sarah said, nickel and diming. If they told me up front, it's going to cost this much to fix your car, and we also have these charges, and I knew they were going to be charged, that probably wouldn't bother me. But for it to show up on an invoice after the fact would not be okay with me.
Yeah, I apologize, guys. I'm going under the assumption that this was a part of the estimate. You know, that
Okay.
I'm sorry for not explaining clearly, but when you got the estimate of $885,
Okay.
this was a part of that mix of the $885. Andy, how about you? How do you feel about that?
Like Sarah said, in my opinion, is that it should be cost of doing business. Are you going to charge me for the electricity used to light up the work area, or the mop that you used to clean up after you did the job? There's cost of doing business, and these costs should be baked into whatever you charge me to fix the car.
Jim, what about you? What are your thoughts on this?
I think I would be understanding if it was included in the original quote, but I also think that at the end of the day, I would feel a little nickel and dimed seeing that itemization, whereas it could have been absorbed in the hourly rate or just labor line item. Whereas, if they had, called $400 in labor and then $50 in shop supplies, I would have just rather probably seen $450 in labor.
Tim, you walk into a shop and you're a first-time customer. And I'm going to put you on the spot with this because I don't think that this is an easy question to answer. Beyond common courtesy, beyond the place being clean, beyond the guy or gal behind the service counter greeting you, smiling, asking good questions, just do all the things that they need to do in a very professional way. What else would you think that they need to do that they're possibly not doing?
One thing that comes to mind is there's a local shop that I go to that doesn't have it sounds trivial, but there's no clear path on how you walk in the shop. So you come in through a garage door that you feel like maybe you're in the Bay Area and you don't want to go through that. So it's a little bit intimidating even as someone who's very familiar with cars. There's kind of side doors. They're all over the place. Clean shop, very nice shop, but no absolute enter here with like a yellow on the floor. Here's how you get in. That'd be one thing that I would say that I would like to see beyond the usual of, open the doors and have a nice smiling person. To elaborate a little more, I think honesty is very important to me, and someone up front who is very open and honest of what to expect and coming up, time that this should take, when they'll call me, all of those, common courtesies that I think can go unnoticed sometimes. I realize their time is valuable and so is mine. So I just want expectations to be set correctly. It's very frustrating to be told, this is a 2-hour job, and then, oh, I can budget 2 hours, I'll wait for it or whatever it be. And then 3.5, 4 hours later, you have to walk up there and ask them for an update.
Tim, you you bring your car in, you drop your car off at this shop. Actually, you know what, let me change gears here one more time. Andy, I know that, and thank you, Tim. Andy, I know based on what Tim just said, you are a dealership guy. You go to a dealership. And Tim was just talking about some instruction, some guidance, some, you know, how do we get from here to there? What is the pathway that I follow? Am I misinterpreting you or misstating you when you had told me that one of the reasons you go to the dealer is the procedures that they have in place?
That is correct. You have the what do they call it? The customer service guys there that greet you. They walk you. Let's go here. They go through the items, and then they say, "There's the lounge area." You go to the lounge area. They have a TV. They have some snacks. They have some drinks. Comfortable couches. I mean, again, you pay a little bit more, but you are not treated like you're treated better. I just feel better. I mean, it doesn't help in any way with fixing the car. It doesn't have anything to do with the car. You're just the customer, the paying customer. You are treated a little bit better. It's maybe the difference between, I don't know, going into a Costco or some other supermarket and versus going to a little corner shop. They have all the same stuff almost, but there's clear defined processes, things in place that you can understand and take advantage of.
You like the predictability of the procedures that are in place.
It makes me comfortable. Yes. Makes sense to me.
Jen, I know that you go to a chain, an independent chain.
Yes.
I assume that being a chain, I assume that they have procedures in place. Is there anything that you'd like to add on to what Andy said with the chain that you go to?
Well, kind of on the same thing, the place I go to has you walk in and you're greeted right away. You deal with your car. They ask you if you're staying or leaving it there, and then they'll send you over to a waiting room. And they have, it's not the fanciest place. It's not like the dealership I used to go to when the car was brand new that had, like Andy said, the lounge and the sofas and all the fancy stuff, but it has nice, comfortable chairs if I'm going to be sitting there for an hour or so. It has a TV to watch. It has coffee and water and some little toys for kids, just something to make you feel comfortable instead of another place I'd been where there's a plastic chair. You sit and wait for the hour with nothing to do, no one to talk to, no one's around. They'd come in and check on me every now and then. Hi, Mrs. P. Hi, how are you doing? Is there anything I can get for you? We just want to let you know that your car is, letting me know how things are going. How the time frame is going, what they're finding, and letting me know how much longer it'll be there, just making sure I'm okay and I'm comfortable and not forgotten.
Jen, thank you. Jen, you dropped your car off at a repair shop in the morning. And they told you that they'll get back to you, and they did some diagnosis and they're doing some repair on it. There's still no certainty whether or not your car is going to be done today. What is the latest reasonable time for you in your local time that you need to know whether or not your car will, with a 90% probability, be done that day? By that I mean excluding any crazy circumstance. You don't want to get that call at 4 o'clock where they say, "Oh, just want to let you know, it looks like your car's not going to be done today," and now you're scrambling. What is the latest reasonable time for you to be notified that your car will not be done that day?
Well, I'd hope they would get to at least look at my car before noon and let me know. If it gets much past noon, lunchtime, I might have a harder time getting back there to get it if I can't leave it or getting a ride back. I would like to know around lunchtime, at least where the process is. Like you said, if it's not going to be looked at all today, then I need to be able to get arrangements to get home from work or get my kids home from school. And I need plenty of time for all that. So I would hope that by lunchtime, 1 o'clock, they have some idea at least where we are.
Okay, Tim, thank you. Tim, what about you? What is the witching hour? What is the latest you would want a shop to notify you that, oh, by the way, Tim, just want to give you a heads up. It looks like we're not going to be able to have your vehicle done today. It's going to be tomorrow before it's going to be done. What is the latest time?
I mean, going back to the expectation thing when you walk in, if they didn't work on my vehicle because they had misbudgeted their time, I think an earlier time in the day, like lunch, if I dropped off in the morning, I'd want to know by lunch, because then I can make a choice. Am I going to pick this thing up and basically not disturb my tomorrow? If it was something where they're like, we took it apart, there's a lot more to this. I want to know as soon as they knew, and I think we can kind of be in that fight together, knowing that they're having issues with it also. But it would be very frustrating if they didn't work on it at all and then call me at later
Sure.
in the day, because
Sure.
I'd want the option to be able to reschedule it if I was expecting to get back by 5 o'clock.
Sure. Sarah, what about you? Thank you. Sarah, what about you? Your car's in for repair and they're working on it. They're trying to get it done. And for whatever reason, doesn't matter why, it's the afternoon. Let's say it's after 12 o'clock. They discover they're not going to be able to have your car done today. And what you don't want is you don't want them calling you or you calling them at 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon and discovering, hey, Sarah, I'm sorry. I hate to call you at this time, but looks like your car is not going to be done today. And then you say, I wish I would have known earlier. I could have arranged for. What is the latest hour for you?
I think I'm an odd exception because I'm in a very walkable neighborhood, including the shop that I take my vehicles to. So, and I work from home. So for me, it wouldn't be as much of an inconvenience if my vehicle wasn't ready the day that they said it would, because I could just walk back and forth. But if I did have to deal with commuting and going to a job and those challenges, I would probably want to know at least an update by noon. Like Tim mentioned, have you already started looking at the car to do the diagnosis? Or just have that communication so there's at least some idea of what the timing is going to be.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah. Sarah, I think COVID has taught us a lot about life and about business. I think everyone will agree to that. What do you think it should teach auto repair shop owners? If you owned an auto repair shop, what would you do differently in the coming years, post-COVID? We developed the vaccine. We get ahead of it. What would you now do differently if you were the owner of an auto repair shop, predicated on what we've all learned through COVID? Anything come to the top of your mind?
I don't know if I would necessarily do anything different, because I think I already expect the shop to be clean. I expect that they, are cleaning and sanitizing, the weight room, the check-in area, the bathrooms. So those are things that aren't new or shouldn't have to be done differently. They should already be part of their process. But maybe have options for, getting the estimates and checking out to where there's a little bit more contactless options. That would be the only thing that really comes to mind.
That's a good one. Those are good answers. Andy, what about you? Is there anything that you would do if you owned an auto repair shop post-COVID?
Well, I would hope that by now my communication with customers is really good, as far as keeping up to date remotely, not having people within the shop waiting, that kind of information. This back and forth that is required now that we have this COVID situation should continue moving forward. I don't need to be next to my car when the technician works on it. I can be somewhere else. You keep me up to date as often as possible, and then we'll work from there.
Andy, one of the questions that I had asked you is if you were quoted $2,000 for repair, and if it came with a 2-year, 24,000-mile warranty. I'd ask you if you'd be willing to spend an additional $150 to $200 if the warranty would be extended to 5-year, 50,000 miles.
I would, and I would even go further than that. Recently, I had to get some work done on one of my cars, and interestingly enough, the guy said lifetime warranty. Anything we did here, lifetime warranty. And then I thought that made me feel really good. But then I thought about it. Well, hold on, whose lifetime and what does that mean? I could sell the car in a year. That lifetime warranty goes away. It's only for me. But it made me feel good. Gave me confidence that whatever you're doing to my car, you're confident enough to say, come back anytime, we'll fix it. Even though that anytime could be never for me, because I'm going to get rid of the car or something happens or the shop goes out of business. Doesn't matter. But that gave me confidence. So an increased warranty would give a customer, or at least me, it'll give me a lot more confidence to go with you versus another shop who says 6 months or 3 months or you're out of here, the warranty's over, that kind of stuff.
And you would be if the shop provided a standard warranty of, let's say, 2 years, 24,000, or 3 year, 36,000 miles. You would be willing to possibly invest a couple $100 and have that warranty be a 5-year warranty, 50,000 miles, if it was a
Correct.
major
Yes.
repair.
Yes, it also depends what it is. For example, brake pads, I don't think a 5-year warranty or any
Sure.
kind of.
Yeah.
But if it's AC unit, cams, heads, that kind of stuff, I would spend the extra money, especially if I knew that part it could be iffy or not have that much confidence that would not break. I would spend the extra money to get an extra extended warranty.
Yeah, thank you, Andy. We're gonna look to all of you that are in the audience. We're going to keep you on your toes right now. We're going to position a poll to you. We're going to ask you a question. You might find this to be interesting. Diana, could we do poll number 1, please? I think you guys and gals might enjoy this little poll. Take a look at it. On an average, for those of you that are calling in that don't see a screen, it says, on an average, a good service advisor will close at least what percentage of all the recommended services? Meaning, at the end of the week, all of the services that were discovered, all the services that were recommended to the customer, what percentage of those should be closed? Okay, I'll just give you a few more seconds. Lots of answers coming in, lots of them. Okay, the correct answer, for those of you that are curious, 50% or more is the answer that you're looking for. You, a good advisor, we have discovered a good advisor that works at a very well-ran shop, that has the right technicians, that lives by the right principles. 50% of the services that are recommended by them to their customers, the customers are going to agree to go ahead and have those done. So great poll, great answers. Thanks all of you for participating in that as well. I'm going to change gears here again. Tim, you ready for another question?
Let's do it.
You with me? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let's pick up on the question that I just asked Andy. Would you be interested in investing a couple $100 more for a $2,000 repair if the warranty went from 2 years to 5 years?
For me, it would be all about who's backing that warranty. If it was a third-party service that I had to call into a hotline center and do that, probably not.
Yeah, no, it would be the shop that would be standing behind it, Tim, the person that's doing
if it was the shop and it was a trusted shop that I go to and that I've built a relationship with, or even maybe this is the first time going with them, but I got a very good feel about them being there when the warranty, needed to be claimed. Yeah, I think I'd invest more, especially if it was a bigger ticket item.
Interesting. Yeah, thank you, Sarah. You're working at you bring your car into an auto repair shop, and you're a new customer there. And this advisor is going to actually introduce you to the technician that's going to work on the car. You'll learn a little bit more about him and his qualifications, his experience, how long he's been with the company. Sort of like a little, snippet of a bio here about him or her. On a scale of 1 to a 10, how much would that influence your confidence in the fact that you're having your car done, repaired by the right shop?
Probably pretty high, 8, 9-ish. I think that knowing the technician that's working on it and about them really goes a long way.
Andy, what about you? Would that influence you?
It would. Yes, definitely would. It is quite easy. One of the things that I said about I told you before about dealerships was you're kind of a number. You go through the motions as a number. They hardly really know you. I would expect an independent shop to get to know you, and you to get to know them. Them introduce themselves to you, so that you're familiar. You understand who's working on your car, and you build this relationship and this confidence that Joe, who's working on my car, has done this before, has worked on these cars before. He knows me. He knows what I do, how I drive, because I told him. He asked the pertinent questions, and he's going to take good care of my car as if he would take care of his niece's, nephew's, whatever car. That would bring a lot of confidence to me.
Yeah, thank you, Andy. And to all of you that are in the audience, just as a reminder, when I vetted all of the panelists, the potential panelists, I was looking for a lot of purchasing habits in them. And one of the things that I was looking for is their affordability index. Are these guys or gals that are willing to invest the money to have the job done right by the right people? The reason that these people are on the screen right now that you're looking at them is all four of them pass that test. And when I say that, there are a lot of questions that I ask all of the guys and gals that I interviewed that help me better understand how they buy, what their buying habits are. Are these people, whether it be retail, whether it be services, are these people that are willing to spend more money and have the job done right by the right people? And all of them fit in that category. And then that's why they go to the businesses that they go to right now. So to that point, guys and gals, we're going to do another really quick poll. Diana, could you help me with this one? I think you guys and gals that are in the audience, you're going to find this to be quite a surprise, all right? Diana, let's do poll number 2 if we could, okay? In selling any service or repair, there are X number of sales that need to take place. What's the answer to that question? Okay, we're good? Okay, here you go. And guys and gals, you might want to make a note of this. There are actually 4 sales that need to take place every time you're dealing with a service customer. The first sale, the first thing that we always have to do is we have to sell the customer on us as a person. If they don't feel comfortable with you, if they can't trust you, if they don't think that you care about them, if they think it's all about money with you, then it's just not going to work. So the first sale is you have to sell them on you. The second sale, and it just came to the surface right now with these people that I've been asking, is you really have to sell them on the technician. They have to understand who's going to be working on their automobile and that their car is going to be in really good hands with that guy or gal that's going to be doing the service. The third sale that has to take place is you have to sell the customer on their vehicle. They have to understand that their vehicle is a good vehicle. If it is, obviously, it is a good vehicle and it's really well worth the investment. The fourth sale that needs to take place is you need to sell them on repair. So the top shops in America, they realize this. They realize in order to effectively sell services in today's day and age, you have to make 4 sales, not just 1. Thanks for sharing that, Diana. Thanks so much. Thanks for the poll. Okay, here comes another one. Tim, you ready for a question?
Yes, sir.
We're good? Okay. If you're quoted $1,000 to do a repair, and the advisor tells you that that they're willing to discount in order to save the sale. You're struggling a little bit with the price or whatever, and they tell you that they'll discount it in order to, let's just call it, save the sale. What kind of impact is that going to have on you and your interest in possibly returning to the shop?
I mean, I'm always interested in wheeling dealing. I'm a sales guy by nature, and that's just who I am. So if someone, they're genuine person, and it's not like the used car sales, stereotype, then I'm always happy to, kind of show the loyalty again, knowing that they gave me a good deal on the first time. And it's kind of a sign of good faith, if you will, that, well, you can come here a long time, or, we want to earn a customer for life. So we can, knock off some money here on this one, and hopefully, we can continue a good relationship.
Jim, what about you? Where do you land with that?
Oh, I'm all for a discount. I would be happy for that. And I wouldn't expect too much. I know they have a business to run, and they can't just give their service away for free. But if that's what they're willing to do to get me to come back, and I wouldn't necessarily expect that every time, but if that's the first welcome aboard, we'll help you out, come stay with us, I would, any kind of discount to keep me from having to go somewhere else or to leave and keep looking, I would appreciate that a lot. That would go a long way.
Andy, what about you?
A discount is a pleasant surprise. You don't have to give it to me the first time. That will be good to, hello, welcome, we'll give you a discount. If you drop it in a little bit once in a while, that would be a pleasant surprise and it make me really feel good about it and come back. But you don't have to do it every time, and I don't expect a lot because you have a business to run.
Sarah, what about you?
I think if a shop's always giving out discounts or sales or promotions, I'm questioning how much they're marking everything up on a regular basis. And it makes me a little hesitant. If I've been there, if I've been a customer there for a while, I think like a, loyalty discount every once in a while is a good thing. But just to have discounts all the time, I think is a little icky for me because I wonder how much everything else is padded.
Thank you. Okay, guys and gals,
Bob,
we're gonna,
if I could add too, Bob,
of
one
course.
perfect example that I had, and this might not work for everybody, but I was having a little bit of a hard time stomaching the cost of one service, and the truck was due for another coming up. So they said, well, listen, if you do them both right now, usually it's X and Y, we'll put them together and we can lower the cost overall. So it was a service that I, may not have gotten done right then and there, but I had already had the truck there, and now it was, kind of making sense because it probably needed to be done at some point. So it was a win-win for them. My truck only had to be there once, and they got an upsell out of it.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, guys and gals, what we're gonna do now? We're gonna jump into the audience questions. This is where we're gonna go. Diana, can you pull up the audience questions, and we're gonna change gears here. We're gonna hear what these guys and gals have to ask. But you know what? Before we do, I'm gonna take just a moment, if I could, and share some thoughts with you, and actually about one of the offers that we have for you that I think you guys and gals are going to really like hearing about. I think one of the things that we can all agree, and it's really nice having the panel here with us and sharing their thoughts, one of the things that we could all agree is it's all about delivering extraordinary service. What are you going to do to make sure that these customers not only reach out to you and get you on the phone, but what are you going to do to make sure that they come into your shop and that you deliver that service, whereas in a way that they're going to want to come back, not just because of the great value that you deliver, but because of the kind of the way that you engage them, your skills. Well, one of the things that we've learned over the years is that we're all in the people business. I'm sure you'll agree with me on that. And we've done, for those of you that aren't familiar with us as a company, we've done more sales training than all of the other companies that are out there. We are the number one, we're the industry leader when it comes to training advisors, when it comes to how to effectively sell. And it was about a year ago or so, actually in the early part of 2019, we decided that what we were going to do is we're going to ask the industry lots of questions about what they were looking for in sales training. And we had found that there are a lot of really cool things that they're looking for. Number one, they wanted to find something that would be available to their schedule, not so much our schedule. They wanted something that would be digestible. They wanted something that would fit all of their different advisors, whether or not their advisors were very well skilled or whether or not their advisors were entry level. They wanted something that would be benefiting every single one of them. So we took all of this information, everything that we learned from all of these surveys from all the shops across America, and we put all of that information, we put it right into the hopper, as we can call it, and we built something that is unlike anything that the industry has ever seen in the past. It's called Sales Master University, and it took us just about a year to create it. And again, this is all new. It's something that is the industry has never seen anything like Sales Master University. Here's why it's so cool. Number one, it's 24/7. Once you enroll, as soon as you're enrolled in SMU, you are then from that point forward, you're entitled to 2 45-minute courses every month. The first one, as soon as you enroll, it's there. Every 2 weeks, you're going to have access to another course. And what's really cool about these, each one of these courses is this video course, 45 minutes in length, and it's taught not only by Jen Moncluse, who is a world-class sales trainer for us, but this is also the lady that I mentioned earlier that's a Ratchet and Wrench All-Star Award winner as well. So you chime into this, you log into the course, you're going to watch this video now, it's going to be 45 minutes. Not only do you hear Jen, who's going to share some really great information with you, really great tips and sales strategies with you, but you're also going to see on your screen one of the industry-leading shop owners and an industry-leading service advisor. So you're going to hear from all three of them. Jen is going to share the best practices, what you need to do. The owner's going to talk about the kind of results that he sees with his advisor doing. And you're going to hear from an advisor as well from throughout the industry. You're going to hear from an advisor and how he's applying it and the results that he's getting as well. So you're actually going to hear from three industry leaders: Jen Moncluse, a world-class shop owner, and a world-class advisor. And the shop owners and the advisors, were always changing those. By that, I mean you're always hearing different advisors and different shop owners that are going to come and join us. So what do you receive? Well, when you are a member of Salesmaster University, when you're enrolled, number one, your advisor is going to have immediate access to his first lesson. Every 2 weeks, he or she's going to have access to another lesson. They're also going to have assignments. So once they've completed that lesson, they're going to have a list of different assignments that they could use now, ways that they could apply what they learned. And for all of you that are owners, I think you're going to really love this as well. There's testing. So once the advisor's completed that first session, that first module, the 45-minute video, he or she then can go on and take the test. And they can take the test as many times as they need to, or watch the video as many times as they need to in order to successfully pass the test. But once the test is passed, that's registered as well. This way, as an owner, you're able to go in and you're able to see that your advisor not only completed the assignments, did the things that he needed to do or she needed to do, but you know what? They have comprehension because they completed the test and passed it satisfactorily. So if you decide to go ahead with Salesmaster University, consider this. All right, the very first session that you're going to get, that your advisor is going to have access to, is going to have to do with mastering sales objections. During the first month, you're going to discover mastering sales objections, how to really do an extraordinary job of exceeding customer expectations, and a procedure that you could follow, an 8-step procedure that you could follow to close more sales. That's all in the first month alone. Now, to make things even better than this, not only is this a really great service and available to you 24/7, this is a month-to-month service. It's only $49 a month. There's no contract required at all. And what we're willing to do in return for our good friends at Mitchell, and in order to show you just how powerful this service is, the first month is absolutely no charge to you. All that you'll need to do is go to salesmasteruniversity.com, and then at the checkout, all that you'll need to do is enter the discount code Mitchell1. Once you do that at the checkout, enter Mitchell1.com. It's going to bring your amount due down to 0, and then that way you're going to be able to take us for a test drive. The promise that I can make you is you're going to absolutely love what you discover. All that you'll need to do is, if you go into the chat box right now, you'll see a chat that we put out, and it shows a link, salesmasteruniversity.com, and it shows a discount code as well you won't lose. One other thing before we pick up with the other questions is, you know as well as I do that the good people at Mitchell, they're wonderful people. They put a tremendous amount of effort into putting this all together. They did. And one of the things that we all know, and I believe that I mentioned this at the opening today, is it's all about application. We know that you're hearing a lot of things and you're probably wondering, how am I going to do this, or how am I going to apply all of that, and where do I start? Well, we work with top shop owners literally across the country. And what a lot of them have done is they put up their hands, they volunteered, they said that they'll help. So any of you that would like help when it comes to implementing what you're discovering through this panel, all that you need to do is go to the chat box, type in your full name, and type in your phone number. And what we'll do is we'll have one of the top shops in America, and we work with plenty of them, you can rest assured. We'll coordinate with one of them to reach out to you and help you with the implementation that you need to take what you're discovering and make it work. Now, the reason that we're willing to do that, and the reason that these top shop owners are willing to do that, we know enough about business to know that if you like what you discover, if you're able to implement what you're learning from these sessions, then we're going to be paid back tenfold. And the way that that's going to happen is you're going to be so pleased, you're going to tell others about us. And when the time comes, you're looking for more help in other ways with your business, you'll be thinking about us as well. So next step, take advantage of Salesmaster University, number one. Number two, if you're looking for more help with applying what you've learned, if you'd like us to coordinate you talking with a shop owner directly, one of the top shop owners in America, all that you'll need to do is put your name and your phone number into the chat box, and we'll have one of these shop owners follow up with you. So Diana, right now, it's time for me to change gears, and let's take a look at some of the questions that are coming up. Could we do that, please? Okay, here we go. Hang on one second, Diana. Okay, well, I'll just read this out. How do you feel, to all of you? Let's start with Sarah. You're at the upper left-hand corner. How do you feel about tiered maintenance packages that increase in the price in each tier? How do you feel about that? Different levels of maintenance at tiered prices.
I'd be okay with that.
You're good with that.
Yeah.
Tim, how about you?
I think as far as like a subscription service goes, I would be good with it if a shop was, again, trusted that I could go back to, and that when I go to use that service, that I paid for or whatever proactively throughout the months, that they're there when I go there. So I'd be okay with it. I like that idea.
Here's another one. Jen, this goes to you. I'm curious what you think about when you're faced with the choice between an aftermarket part and an original equipment part. Are you willing to pay a premium price for an original equipment part?
Oh, yes. For a car, I know that I'm sure they wouldn't be putting it in my car. I would hope if they didn't approve and they didn't test it out and make sure it was good enough. But to me, I would prefer new parts over aftermarket parts. I would pay the extra for that.
Well, they would both be new. You said new over aftermarket. So they're both one is a new aftermarket part and the other is a new factory part. So you're saying you'd be willing to pay an additional fee for the factory part?
Yes, I would.
Okay. All right. Okay. How about, do you expect to, Tim, do you expect shop owners to sell parts to you at cost and make profit on labor?
I don't think at like a wholesale cost, at a retail price. I don't think it's crazy to think that they're going to sell that at what I could go down to, an auto parts store to get it and make the same margin that they make there. But I don't believe they should be marking up the industry retail cost.
Sarah, you're shaking your head.
Yeah, that's fair. Like I expect there to be some, quote unquote markup for their time that they're putting in to order the part and get the part in. But I don't expect like an extreme markup.
Boy, there's just so many questions. And guys and gals, I apologize for the delay, but a lot of these questions are so long, and I'm trying to read through them and find a way of simply stating the question to you. Could we scroll down a little bit more, Diana, please? When your vehicle, Sarah, when your vehicle is being repaired, do you want an opportunity to see the problems that were found?
Not necessarily, because I'm not a big car person, so I think it would get lost on me.
Jen,
If they're explaining it to me good enough, then I think I'm okay with that.
Okay. Jen, what about you?
I same as Sarah. You could show me several different parts of the car and I probably wouldn't know what that was. Something like an air filter or something. If they're trying to tell me your air filter needs to be replaced and you show me, see how bad this is, I understand that. But if you're showing me something else, I'll take their word. I don't need to see the part.
What about, Jen, what about beyond Google and Yelp? What about endorsements by organizations like the BBB, AAA? Do those have an impact on you?
For sure. I check those often.
Okay, and what about the rest of you? Tim?
No, I personally don't really dig in on, I am a AAA member. When I owned a business, I was a BBB member, but I typically don't look into that too much. I kind of do a comprehensive search online of seeing what the reviews look like and then get the feel of the shop as we go into it.
Okay. Sarah, what about you?
I tend to look for BBB. I don't put a lot of weight on it, but I just definitely glance at it.
Andy, what about you?
To me, it's a checkbox. You should have a good BBB rating. If it's horrible, you're out of the picture. I'm not going there. But if it's good, a lot, I mean, I don't know what horrendous thing you have to do to have a bad rating there, but you better have a standard good one. And then going back to the question about if I'd like to see the broken parts, I think I said it before, get to know your customer. If your customer is into cars, knows a little bit about cars, show them the parts, show them what the problem is. For me, show me. More you show me, the more I trust you that what you're doing is legit and upfront. If the customer doesn't really care or know or doesn't have time, don't bother.
So guys and gals, Andy, and as you're hearing from this panelist, you're hearing about what they like to see and whether or not they look at parts. And Diana, can I put you on the spot here again? Could you please pull up poll number 5? And you panelists might find this interesting as well. According to university studies on sales, read each one of these and determine which one is the correct answer. We're good? Okay, we end the polling. Okay, you guys ready for this? And Diana, which one could we pull them up on the screen? Okay, take a look, guys. One more time. Okay, 7% is words. This is UCLA study, by the way. 7% is words. 38% is tonality. 55% is what they see. So what is the takeaway here? You know, the takeaway clearly is people believe what they see. The takeaway here is the thing that we need to bear in mind is when we're dealing with customers on the phone, people can't see us. So it's all about our tonality, our conviction. Do we sound believable when we're on the phone with them? This is what they're looking for. And then when the customer does come into the shop, they're going to be most influenced by what they see. So anything that we can do to get them visually involved is going to be a win in every single way. The more they see, the more successful you're going to be. This is why it's so critically important that you make sure that your place looks good and has a good influence on them. It's so critically important that they have the opportunity, especially if it's a first-time customer, to meet that technician and say hi to them and start to build a relationship with them. So this is a huge one. So thanks so much for putting that up, Diana. Very much appreciated. Very much appreciated. So Andy, I'm going to come back to you just for a minute if I could. And since you believed in the dealerships over the years, and we could close out that or minimize that panel if we could, Diana. Thank you. Andy, since you've been going to the dealers for a number of years, you had mentioned earlier that it's the processes that keep you there. What can independents do to help get somebody like you as a dealership customer? You're willing to spend more money. You do that by going to the dealerships. What can they do differently in order to get you there and keep you there? You had said that you like the fact that they have the amenities, that they have the water, the clean seats and all of that, but help us better understand the things that we could do.
Build a relationship with me. When I come to your shop for the first time, you should have alarm bells going all over the place. This is a new customer that could be a potential lifelong customer. Don't treat me like a customer that I've been there 5 times, 50 times, or 100 times. Treat me special first time. Treat me a little bit less special the second time. See that I build a relationship with you. Make a loyalty, use a loyalty program, use discounts, use whatever tools you have to make me comfortable with your shop, with you, to make me believe that what you're doing, you're upfront and you're doing a good job. Show me that you do a good job and build trust. And then I'll come back over and over and over. And then, you know, the 10th time I come there, you can just, hey, you're here, we know you, yeah, just have a seat there, don't worry about it. First time, kid gloves, get to know me, make me feel special.
Would you support an orientation program if you're a new customer that first came in? We just ask you if you have just a few minutes, or when you're booking your appointment, letting you know that we realize you're a first-time customer and ask if you have a few minutes where we could just introduce you a little bit more to the shop and how we operate, some of our key people?
Absolutely. If I'm sitting there waiting for the car, to get fixed, I'm twiddling my thumbs, looking on the phone, keeping myself busy. I have you have my attention then. So if you want to spend time then, hey, let me give you a tour. Let me tell you about Joe who's working on your car. Let me show you why we're here. Have you seen our website? Do you want to do a poll? Any suggestions, any first impressions that comments you want to do? If I'm there doing nothing, which most of the time is, use that time. Use me.
Sarah, it looks like you were nodding when he was talking. Are you in agreement, or is there something that you wanted to add?
No, I thought those were great suggestions.
So you'd recommend some kind of an orientation with new customers?
Yep.
And
It's
Tim,
all part of building trust.
Thank you, Sarah. Tim, what about you?
I mean, when you go to a restaurant for the first time, a very common question a server will ask you is, have you been here before? Is this your first time? I think the same could, I've never really thought about it, quite honestly, but I guess the same could go across the board for a shop too. And kind of to support what Andy's saying about as your return customer, I really enjoy when there's you can tell there's an organized system that they know what they've done to my vehicle before. So when they can say, oh yeah, when you were here back in December, I know we discussed doing, X, Y, Z. Is that something, you ever got to take care of, or should we be doing that today? So that they're kind of reminding you of the things that happened. So answering your question more, I mean, yes, an orientation's, and again, judging your customer, just knowing a little bit about it is history of the shop. I mean, we established on the last call that we really all want to know what got them there, how they're there now. So could be a very good idea. It's something I've never considered until this minute. So I like the idea a lot.
And Jen, what about you? Where do you land with new customer orientation?
Well, kind of like Tim said, I've never even considered that at a car repair shop before. I would think maybe more along the lines for me to be asking about, rather than telling me about the shop and how it started and that kind of thing, more asking me questions. Like, what kind of cars do I have? How long have I had them? What are my concerns with this car? What can we do to help you? Like, more asking me about me. That sounds a little conceited.
Thank you.
But...
Yeah, thank you, Jen. Guys and gals, to all of our audience, by the way, I see these questions are still coming in, and please, I know that we're getting short or running out of time here. Please bear in mind that we have time. We're going to make sure that all of your questions are answered one way or the other. We are going to do that. I will make sure somehow or other somebody in this organization gets the answers to you that you're looking for. So any questions that you have for the panel, keep them coming in. And if you feel, oh boy, they're not going to have time to get to my question, even if it's offline, I will get the answers for you either from these panelists or even through all of our team members somehow or other that have the experience and know the answers to your questions. So we'll get those for you. And Andy, I got another question for you. You ready for another one?
Go for it.
Okay. You need a number of repairs on your automobile, and some of them are unexpected. Service advisor calls you to tell you what they discovered and what they recommended. What do you feel history has taught you to be their 3 greatest failures when it comes to recommending additional services to you, unexpected services to you? What do you think is their 3 greatest failures?
Not usually I try to be on guard for the upsell. Yeah, you're here for an oil change. How about your brakes are low, you need new tires, and I don't know, you need your coolant flushed, something like that. I'm careful about the upsell. So if you guys say we've been replacing your whatever, and we notice that X component is kind of weak, you should look at changing that now or soon. I would more respond to soon, where I have time to think about it, convince myself that I need to do it and get it done, then get it done now. Now, if they are in there and they say, hey, this one looks like it's about to fail, and we can, since the whole thing is a part, is going to cost you just parts cost to replace this because it's really quick, then I'd be probably more willing to say, yeah, go for it. I'm getting a discount on something that sounds like should be changed, and I would do it.
Thank you, Jen. What about you? What do you think is the most common failures that these service advisors make when they're telling you about other repairs or services that they've discovered that you were unaware of?
I think it's kind of the sneak attack sort of. I know I came in for my brakes. Well, how do you know that my coolant is low? I didn't ask you to even look at that. So finding things wrong that have nothing to do with what I went in there for is suspicious to me. Maybe it is low and maybe there is a problem, but if I didn't ask for something to be checked out and you checked it out and now you're telling me it needs to be done. I didn't come for that. I didn't ask you to check that. And now you're trying to sell me something that I didn't come in for, has nothing to do with what I came in for, if that makes sense. I don't want to be told about everything that's wrong with my car today and it needs to be fixed today. And if you drive away, you know, your tire could end up falling off on the way home. Well, I know enough about cars that my tire is probably not going to fall off on the way home. I think some places have tried to scare me a little bit. I'm a woman and I don't know. So all these things are wrong with your car and you should probably fix them right away or something's going to go wrong. I don't fall for that. For one, I know enough about cars. But to treat me that maybe I don't know what to assume that I don't know what they're talking about and to scare me into thinking or worrying me into thinking something needs to be fixed that does not.
So it sounds like in your case, it sounds like shop owners could do a better job of communicating with you about the value of having a comprehensive inspection done, having you then opt into that, say, you know what, I would like to do that, rather than surprising you and telling you, hey, we checked this and this is what we found.
Sure. Like I go in for something and they say, well, we're in there. Do you mind if we can do a full inspection or we can do a full, ask me first. If you find something, then thank you for finding it. So yeah, if you ask me first and I agree to it, then sure, that would be a completely different story. But to just do it and then tell me we found these things wrong, I'd be very suspicious of that.
So one of the failures, it sounds like, in summary, one of the failures that you see in advisors is they're calling up and providing you with a service recommendation, and they really never even took the time to have a conversation with you and get your permission to even inspect the automobile or look for these other things. Breakdown in communication. Sarah, what about, thank you, Jen. Sarah, what about you? What is the greatest failure that you see with service advisors when they call you and tell you about other things that they discovered with your automobile other than what you brought the car in for?
I think not presenting me with options and really explaining what they found and what the repercussions of that could be. You know, and explaining, you know, exactly what's going on and like, is it something critical that like needs to be fixed right now, or is it something that we can make like a repair plan in the next 3, 4, 6 months? Plan on bringing the vehicle back to where you have time to save up for it and plan accordingly, I guess. So just, I don't know, just presenting me with options and then being able to really explain to me on an elementary level what's going on and what that means for my vehicle.
Options are big to you.
Yep.
When it comes to repair or service, you like to know what your options are.
Yes.
From these advisors. Tim, anything you'd like to add to that?
I would say having someone, and I guess I think it kind of brings everything together, is having someone underqualified to explain it. Because we've kind of established we want to know our audience. Some people in this panel even are just everyone's on different spectrums. So we want to have someone who's personable, can discuss why you need it, and make you feel comfortable that they're actually going to need it. One thing that I did really enjoy about the Lexus dealership was that when I brought it in, I knew every single time they'd hand me back a vehicle report card, and I had a simple system of green, yellow, and red. And that's how, you know, where your brakes are doing, how your battery's doing, how everything's doing. And going along with what Sarah was saying about like a repair plan or an idea of what's going to come up with it. well, then okay, next time I bring this in, I'm probably going to have to cut the check for a new XYZ. And so it made it a little bit easier, and you're mentally ready for it, and you're not getting dumped, all the things it needs right at once. You can plan ahead for it.
Andy, anything you'd like to add to that?
Yes, actually, I was trying to remember. I know there's sometimes shops are really busy. There are times when I call them and they don't have the time because they're swamped for whatever reason. And there are times when I'm busy and I don't have time to deal with the car. However, we have a relationship. Once in a while, you guys can text me, email me, you guys as the shop owners, and say, hey, on Tuesday of next week, or Tuesday today, or today it happens that we don't have anything. We have time to take care of your car because whatever. You don't tell me why, but for some reason your technicians are doing nothing, and you know that my car has some job that needs to be done. You could use this to say, hey, today we have time available. We'll give you a discount if you bring in the car. If you have the time to bring in the car today, we can fix XYZ. So you could take advantage of times when your shop is low on work and I am low on our high availability, when you could upsell me on stuff at a discount, and then you could take advantage of that. They never do that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you're hearing what all of these panelists are saying, and I certainly hope that you picked up on what Andy just said. Here's a fellow that's been going to dealerships for years, and he's saying that these are things that just aren't being done. So you have the opportunity. You're having a little bit of a slow day. It sounds like, Andy, if I'm paraphrasing you correctly, you're having a little bit of a slow day. You have Andy's cell number. One of the things that we concluded last week, and I'm sure all of you will remember, that these guys and gals all said unanimously that don't use my phone as a marketing tool. Don't text me marketing ads. I don't want those. I don't want those. It's a communication tool. This is what the panelists told us last week. So to Andy's point, look at a nice way that you can communicate directly with them by sending them a text. Hey, Andy, just wanted to let you know that we had a customer that wasn't able to make it in today, had to cancel their appointment. We have an opening. I know that you were due to have this service done. If you'd like to bring it in today, this is what we could do for you. So an easy way to help fill up your service base and make the customer a happy customer at the same time, because you caught them at the right time. Is that safe to say, Andy? Did I paraphrase you correctly?
Absolutely.
You're good. You're good. Okay, guys, gals, look, why don't we do this? We're just about out of time for you as a panelist. We're going to be circling back with all of the audience next week. We're going to take a look at everything that we learned, and we're going to ask ourselves, okay, how do we move forward with this? What are some of the things that shop owners could do now with what they've learned from you? But before I let you go, and of course I want to take a moment to thank you, but even before I do that, is there any closing thought or message that you'd like to share with our audience, knowing that these are guys and gals, everybody that's online here, they're here for one reason. They care about people. They want to do the right things for the right reasons. They know that they need to get better at a lot of different things, as we all do. They're looking to improve. And they know that they could learn a wealth from you. That's why they've been here for the past couple weeks, past two meetings. Is there any thoughts that you would like to share with them? Andy, I'll certainly start with you. Is there anything that you would like to share with them at this point?
Yes, absolutely. One thing that really blows my mind, granted, I haven't looked into it that much, but blows my mind that shop owners don't pick up on the subscription service that technology industry has gone to. So right now you have a service, you subscribe to it. Why doesn't the shop owner say, if you subscribe to our shop, $50 a month, I don't know what amount needs to be, we will take care of you and your car, or give you a high discount if you come here, or something like that. That subscription, it's like a loyalty. It's something that makes you feel like you belong. And if you build loyalty and trust with the shop, you will have a customer for life who'll pay a subscription, even if they don't bring in their car to get fixed. Even if it's a new car they bought, they're still not going to bring it in or maybe come and check out. You'll get money out of it just through a subscription. So I would recommend that the shop owners look at the technology industry, how they do it with the subscription services, and try to adapt that to their business.
Wait, great recommendation. Yeah, thank you, Andy. Tim, what about you? Is there any thoughts that you'd like to share with our guys, leave our guys with?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing that the common theme for all of us is that once you get us in the door, you earn our trust, that we're going to continue to come back there. And being a car guy, I'm someone who people will call me and say, hey, where should I go? Or, you know, what do you think of this? So step one would be just earn my trust and make me understand it. Like my common theme has been, you know, be honest, have someone who knows how to talk to me correctly. And I feel for someone like Sarah who may not know a ton about cars. So when that person, I'm getting a bad vibe about that, and I may call them on their BS, but I'm not, you know, it doesn't matter to me because I can tell. I'm never going to refer someone to them. So you may lose me as a customer, or even maybe keep me as a customer because for whatever reason it's just convenient, but I'm never going to recommend that shop again. And also, I do understand that time is valuable. And I mentioned earlier about the free diagnostics, and all I expect of that is an honest conversation. If I bring my car in or my truck in and I'm like, hey, this is wrong with it, I don't expect them to take the whole thing apart and do it for free for me. I expect them to look at it, give them, you know, 5-10 minutes of like drive it around the block real quick and say, we think it's this is where we go from here. Because again, the communication is the whole thing to me, and building the relationship. Once I start going to that shop, and you're the reason I leave, not me, because I'm going to go somewhere else because you made me feel uncomfortable at some point.
Yeah, what great comments for sure. What great comments for sure. Jen, what about you? Any thoughts that you'd like to share with our audience? Oops, looks like we lost. Jen, are you with us? Jen, you're muted. Could you hear us?
Kind of. Can you hear me?
We can.
Not.
Well, we could circle back. Sarah, what about you?
I would just say, you know, we've already got some great tips and suggestions already, but I would just say, like, just be genuine and authentic and be human. You know, just treat your customer like you want to be treated. It's simple. But, you know, people like doing business with, you know, people they're comfortable with and that they like.
Yeah, boy, who's going to argue with Miss Sarah on that one? What a great reminder there too, Sarah. Jen, what about you, my friend? You back with us?
I think so. Kind of what Sarah was saying too. If you're honest and upfront, treat me like you would treat a family member or a friend. I'm pretty loyal to places that I go to, cars or whatever it is. And I think a big part of a business is word of mouth and customer happiness. If you make me happy or treat me well, I'm going to share that with whoever asks or whoever wants to know. If I had a really great experience, I may just put it out in the cyber world to let everybody know everything was great. If you treat me poorly or unfairly, everyone's going to know that too. So I think you have to be really considerate, especially nowadays, that you treat everyone the same. You treat everyone honestly and respectfully, and it'll get you pretty far.
Boy, no question about that, huh, guys and gals? No question about that. Well, look, one of the things that we're going to do is, to the rest of you, I'd like the rest of you to stick around just for a couple minutes if I could. We'll talk about what's going to happen next week. To all of our panelists, I would like to, again, thank you. I know that your time is valuable. I had the opportunity of spending a lot of time with each of you, learning more about who you are as individuals and your purchasing habits and what you like and don't like with auto repair. And you can rest assured you helped us in countless ways. So on behalf of our company, Elite, and on behalf of the good people at Mitchell 1 and all the guys and gals that are online with us, we would like to all thank you for joining us. We really would. So thanks for being here. You guys did an outstanding job.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks so much for joining us. To the rest of you, let's take just a moment if we could, and let's talk about the next step, all right? A couple different things. One, make sure that you have it in your calendar. Next Tuesday, same time, same channel, same place. Use the same link. You're really going to be blown away with what you discover, because you're going to hear from 4 industry leaders that are going to tell you what they learned, and equally as important, what they're doing to apply it. I've already spoken with some of them, and they've already told me about things that they've already put into use, that they're already doing based on what they learned last week, let alone this week. from this customer panel. So mark your calendar, make sure that you join us. Number 2, don't forget, for a limited time only, it's only through the end of this month, the month of October, salesmasteruniversity.com. You go there, you can enroll, and the first month, it's on us. $49 a month, first month, it's on us. No contract is required. You could opt out at any time. You're going to get immediate results, and you are going to love the results that you see. The other thing that I wanted to mention, one other point. Any of you that are wondering about application, going, I got a lot of great stuff here. Where do I go from here? We have tons and tons and tons and tons of really great shop owners that we work with all across the country. They've already told me they would love to get back to the industry. They would love to help you. And what we'll do is we'll connect you with one of those shop owners. If you have any questions about implementation, they're going to help you, and you're going to be thrilled with that. So thanks again for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next Tuesday, same time, same place. Thanks again for being here.